Stop was my first album,
Yeah.
and and basically as soon as I signed my record deal with A&M and my publishing deal with Rondor, not so much the publishing because my publisher was incredibly encouraging, and in fact I'm still with him today. He's great. He's a Scottish guy, Stuart Hornell, and he's a great bloke, and he sent me out to LA. But the whole thing about it was, how can we make you better? Because actually you're a bit disappointing. Now, the latter part of that sentence, I think, yes, it's probably me being a bit oversensitive about things, but equally, when you're putting yourself out there, I mean, they really did. They were like, well, you can't wear that to start with, and if you've been to a hairdresser recently, and, it was entering into show business, which I had a massive aversion to because I didn't
Yeah.
like what I saw with my dad. I didn't like seeing someone tell the same jokes on stage every night. I didn't like the fact that he planned what he was going to say. I didn't like the fact that he was cagey when he did an interview. I'm just not like that. I don't believe in that. I believe in human beings, and I believe, I will consider what I say as any person does, in that I would hate to offend you if I was talking to you, or although I've been pretty fucking offensive in my life. I just heard that coming out of my mouth and I thought, what a load of bollocks. No, but basically, I wouldn't, I mean, when I was doing Stop, it was like 20 interviews a day in a hotel room.
Yeah.
And I would, every person that I met, that was my time. Those people that was their time and my time. Nothing to
Yeah.
do with, I mean, I knew it was PR, obviously I did. But the, I think so many artists are not aware, certainly in those days, that they are entering into this machine.
Yeah.
And, and I I was quite easygoing, actually. I was like, well, okay, if I have to wear a red top, I will. Fine, no problem, whatever. So I was quite, it didn't seem important to me. But I think you can really see that with that record. Whereas, subsequent records where I've had more control over it, I see myself in them. They're not all me, and they're not
Mhm.
literal lyrics, and they're not, in diary form necessarily, but they are about my experience of life. And
Yeah.
I think that's important in any form of art, which I consider music to be,
Yeah, of
because
course.
if you are expressing yourself in a creative or artistic way, whatever it is, a sculpture, a record, a live gig, whatever, a
Mm.
hairdo, the way you dress, it has to come from you. And it's about realizing who you are. So that first record did not assist me in any way with that, because I was not a confident person.
Mm.
So it just pushed me down and pushed me down. And so when my mum became ill in 1990, and then we realized she was going to die, we were doing the second album, and I was promoting for 3 years. I was always away. And I came back, and I nursed my mum with my aunt and a friend at home. And and then I wrote 43 Minutes, which was my third album, before and after she died. And the guy that I'd signed to at A&M Records had gone. He was a fantastic bloke called Brian Shepherd, who now lives in America. And the new person, who's called Howard Berman, was
Mm.
just not, he just did not see music in the same way as me at all. I could talk to him and that was fine, but I had serious issues with the record company then. And he
Yeah.
said, this album, his words were, of 43 Minutes, this album is creatively brilliant but commercially a disaster, and you need to record a single to stick on the end of it. And I was like, yeah, mate, you're having a laugh. That's not actually going to happen, because it's a concept album, really. I
Yeah.
don't know if you've heard 43 Minutes, but it was, well, you have, because you came to Marco. So
I came to Marco's, and I've heard 43 minutes, and I mean, I think it's a fabulous album. It's 43 minutes and so many seconds, isn't it? If I
yeah,
remember right. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, something. But
Uh,
he was so dismissive of it. And eventually I went away and I thought about it, and I was a completely recouped artist. And I went in, I said, look, Howard, I said, I don't see that there's a future relationship here. You don't see where I want to go with things, and I don't see where you want to go with things. And they let me go. It took me a long time to get the album back, but after that, sorry, in a very long way, I'm coming to answer your question in a way, which actually I can't remember what the question was now. It was there. It was there in my mind, and now it's gone. Oh, I remember. Yeah, why weren't the other albums successful? So basically, April Moon, I think, was a bit too long, in my opinion. I think it was a great album, had some great tunes on it, but the record company
Yeah,
weren't interested because I don't know what they wanted. They wanted another stop. Well, I wrote
yeah,
at least two other fantastic soul ballads with Greg Sutton, who I co-wrote Stop with. They weren't nothing was good enough, you know. But then Stop, they weren't that keen on Stop either, really. I mean, radio wouldn't play it in this country. It
yeah.
took for Europe to embarrass them into playing it before it actually got on the radio.
It
So
was big in Holland. It was big in Holland though first, wasn't
yeah,
it?
yeah, it
Yeah,
went. There was a great the guy over there, head of marketing, Rudy. Can't remember his surname. He was fantastic. He was just, you know, one of those people full of energy, very positive bloke, incredibly
yeah.
tall. And Rudy was great, and he got it to number one. I didn't get it to number one. It's hard work. You know what it's like releasing a